That's why I'm doing this, to cope. I'm literally asking the editors, just cut more. Hello again, and I continue my rewatch of Interview with the Vampire, but with a twist, in a Russian censorship. Today we're watching the rest of the first season, episodes 5, 6, and 7, just to, to finish it off. Because frankly, I am so impatient to find out what happens next. We start with episode 5, which in the censored version is 40 minutes long. Right away, Lumond feeding has its place.
Мальчик с велосипедной шиной и собакой. Не трогайте мою собаку. Школьный учитель. Береги свое сердце. Ничего более безумного и не придумать.
Okay, I was a bit rash in my assessment of the length of this censorship. This is just the dialogue between Daniel and Reid. Just the dialogue, but with Louis feeding on him. But they showed Louis feeding on him in the first second of the episode, so why cut this part?
Как вы думаете, что произойдет с мистером Дюлаком, когда вы опубликуете книгу, и она...
We see it now, so why cut that part? Is it the length of exposure? Do they think that if we watch it for like 20 seconds longer, then that would convert us? Is the propaganda working harder when it's just like 15 seconds longer? Surprisingly, the only thing that fell victim to the censorship in the opening scene was the few seconds of Louis and Reid just, doing their thing, and Rashid Arman talking to Daniel in the meantime. Everything else is surprisingly true to the original, like even Louis' lines that he stuffs himself with honey and pineapple before he offers himself to me. That stayed. And what does he taste like? That stayed too. So again, more baffling decisions. Why cut these 10 seconds if you leave everything else? And I'm asking again, is it the length of exposure?
Не сомневаюсь, вы оплатите штрафы, но вот за угрозы полицейскому предусмотрено лишение свободы.
Russian law is so homophobic that it's even more homophobic that police chief. At least he acknowledged, their relationship. But here they exchange the accusations of being in a same-sex relationship with the threatening the authorities. How were they threatened is another question, but I guess they were kind of hostile towards the officers, as they should be.
Ты хотел ее, ты и разбирайся.
И пиво, и виски.
Мы в одной лодке.
Она как гиря, тянущая нас на дно черного, как ночь океана.
They cut out the line where the stat says, do you remember how happy we were before her? Doesn't insinuate anything. It was just about the state of happiness of their friendship, I would say. Friendship here.
С кем мне дружить?
Who am I supposed to love becomes who am I supposed to be friends with? Okay, as far as I understand, in this version of Interview with the Vampire, love just doesn't exist. It's just not there. I mean, romantic love. Every instance of a romantic love is exchanged with the friendship. Why change it for Claudia here? Because we saw her with Charlie already. Why not translate it as who am I supposed to love?
Кому я вообще? Интересно.
Oh, they also cut the part where she says, who's my Lestat, who's my Louis? Which is again weird, because before that she said, who am I supposed to be friends with? And we've established in this version that Louis and Lestat are like besties. So that would make sense. Who would be my Lestat? Who would be my friend? You two are friends, right?
Извращенцем? Дядя из гостиницы, который смотрел, как я писаю? Или маленьким мальчиком? Даже через 40 лет. Это будут маленькие мальчики? Как вы это исправите? Кто из вас будет со мной дружить?
So which one of you gonna fuck me? Which one of you gonna be friends with me? Okay, Again, this translation doesn't make sense because in some parts they do exchange love with friendship, but in other parts they keep the original meaning. Like at first she says, who am I supposed to be friends with? And here she asks, which one of you are going to be my friend? But then they translated the part where she talks about perverts and little boys. Then how's that clicking? It's not clicking. Like if you're talking about friendship, why are you talking about perverts and little boys? Because with friendship, you have more options, yeah? And if you're talking about love, then why you're saying, like, who's going to be friends with me? If you really want love, maths ain't mathing here.
Прости, мне хватает друзей.
Листат.
Oh, you're not my type, I prefer a fuller figure becomes, I have enough friends.
А ты отнял у меня Чарли, хотя у самого есть любимая.
In the original, she says, you're cruel to refuse me one love when you have two. And here Claudia says, you took Charlie away from me for some reason. She doesn't mention Charlie in the original. So you took Charlie away from me when you have a loved one. Or you have, how to say it? Любимая. So it's a loved one, but a female loved one. English is not a gendered language. So like, you have a beloved woman.
Он устал от нас по полу. Прислуга и ошибка.
Claudia says that Louis is like a housewife and she is a mistake. And in this translation, she says that Louis is a servant and she is a mistake. If Lestat has a woman he loves, let's say that he loves Antoinette, what's the problem here? Why the tension? Why Louis like side-eyeing him?
Не знаю, помнишь ли ты...
Антуанетта.
Я убью ее.
Did they make a pact that they shouldn't have any romantic relationships outside of their friendship? What's the issue there? It's not like he made her a vampire. That maybe would introduce some tension.
Ну и замки на дверях, ставни на окнах. Никаких вечеринок. Нью-Йорк, Чикаго, Лос-Анджелес.
Париж.
Нет.
They got a part where Louis narrates that Claudia's absence would reveal the damaged state of their relationship. It's just a line about how resentful they were of each other. And, you know, it feels like every time they cut something, they cut the part about the problems in their relationship. I don't know why cut the context of everything leading up to the culmination of this episode.
Но если мое состояние и дальше будет тратиться впустую...
2 места преступления, 7 смертей.
No considerables. Now, Lestat starts saying pretty much the same, like I'm a full-blooded adult, but then, instead of the right appendages and considerables, he says, if my state of adulthood, I guess, is going to be wasted anyway, then I'll go.
Хлои!
С ним ты как в крошечной клетке. Не оставайся в ней.
Ты столько из-за нее страдал?
Я прошу, идем со мной. Ты достоин большего.
So 1,000 nights of sulking, they left that, but they cut the line where he says, at the first sight of her, you're just gonna leave me. They haven't altered anything else about this scene so far, so it's visible that Louis is conflicted here, that he wants to go with Claudia, but also he has some attachment to Lestat. Lestat's reaction here makes sense. Why cut it? I don't know. But that's the most frequent reaction. Yeah, like, why cut it? I don't know.
Просто пусти меня.
They cut the line, I chose you. They cut the whole monologue of Lestat where he says that he has patiently waited for Louis to love him. That's all gone. So we're going straight to, like, let me go. It's just sad that such rich material got just shredded to bits. So moving on to episode 6. It is 38 minutes long in the censored version. So let's see what's left of it.
Дайте мне шанс. Без вас я никто. Я никто без вас обоих.
They left the part where he says, I'm nothing without you, but they make it sound like he is addressing them both, the both time, or he is using the honorific you for Louis the first time. I guess it's a weird translation, just sounds weird to my Russian ears.
Жестокое молчание.
And they cut the line where he says, you were never cruel, Louis.
Он создал для меня почти идеальный подарок с одним недостатком.
Он жал.
Алавида, доктор Бхансали. Был рад не познакомиться, мистер.
So they stopped at the fact that this near perfect gift had one flaw. I don't understand. What was the flaw? We heard that there was a woman singing, and in the re-recording, it was Lestat's voice. So, and yeah, I should say, they cut everything out after that. The swimming, the Mississippi, the argument, the hate sex, it's all gone. Why leave the part about this gift, about this recording and this song, if you're gonna cut the essence of the scene, the point of the scene? They should have just cut at the beginning, because it doesn't really show up after that. So why do we need it? I don't know. It just feels like a hack job.
Пусть у меня запор от легальной дури, но остроумие льется рекой.
Вампирская связь.
They caught Daniel accusing Louis of taking Lestat back.
Людей нет ничего подобного.
Ваш друг, убийца, создатель.
Again, lover is a friend now, so your friend, murderer, maker.
Вы помирились.
Такую связь невозможно разорвать навсегда. 4-е правило.
Убей Антуанетту.
Also, they cut the part where Louis says that a bond like that makes you believe that there's only two of you. And then Daniel says, but there were three of you. And then they cut to this scene in the original where they say that the rule number 4 is to kill Antoinette. But we didn't have this scene with the record. We didn't have this scene with Antoinette in Antoinette's house. So why are Louis and Claudia so pressed about Antoinette in this version? I don't understand. Why is it a rule? Why should Lestat kill Antoinette? We haven't actually seen her since, I don't know, like last episode?
Она моя личная...
Интрижка.
Сказала дитя.
Ей скоро 33.
Claudia says, kill Antoinette. And then Lestat says, Antoinette is my own private affair. They translated it correctly, affair. And then Lestat points out that Claudia has no place interfering in the romantic life of her parents. But they cut that line about the romantic life.
Вот бы ты дала ему шанс.
Может, Магнус это просто су-шеф из Швейцарии?
Я сама искренность и смирение, я больше не могу это выносить.
Она упрямая.
For some reason, they cut the part where Claudia says, one sub-story and you're back to eating from his hand. Again, what's the problem with that line? If they're friends and they had very shaky relationship, why cut this line? It doesn't imply anything.
Этого мало. Они были похожи друг.
We don't have the scene in the coffin anymore, obviously, where Louis and Lestat are getting to sleep together again in one coffin.
Они оба выискивали слабости и ликовали, когда их находили.
Я играл сразу 3 партии в Люксембургском саду. И один из моих противников был Иоганн Цукерторт, выигравший парижский чемпионат 78-го.
Кто это?
Okay, I see what they cut. The whole conversation about Nikki, gone. I mean, couldn't they spin it in the way that Nikki was his first friend, his first best friend?
Сочувствую твоим утратам.
Сочувствовать нужно тебе уже в 100-й раз. Восхищаюсь тем, как ты упорно продолжаешь играть, не имея к этому никаких способностей.
Меня научил мой хозяин. Научил плохо, чтобы лишь скрасить свое время.
Сегодня я поохочусь один.
Almost nothing is left of this scene. The Claudia's antagonism, how she pushes Lestat's buttons on Nikki and Magnus and Louis.
У хозяина столько потерь. Бог не может посылать ему новые беды.
Я с тобой.
Again, they translated like, I'm sorry for your losses, and had so much loss in his life. But what losses? They haven't talked about losses. They haven't talked about Nikki and Magnus and anything else.
Ему сказали, что сделать, а он был избалован и не любил, когда ему указывают. И все же мы были в оцепенении. Плюнь в сэндвич и подай его с улыбкой.
Что?
Весело только смотреть, как его кусают.
It doesn't make sense. Why leave the part where Louis finds out about Antoinette and everything if they do nothing with it, if they cut half of it? They cut from Louis telling that Lestat was a brat and he didn't like doing what he was told to do, to completely nonsensical segue into the spit in the sandwich and serve it with a smile. How is that supposed to make any sense if we are not talking about the dialogue before that between Louis and Claudia? What sandwich has to do with it?
Он ее спрятал, это намеренно. Хочет, чтобы его раскрыли.
Зачем?
Потому что он потерпел крах.
Claudia asks, why does Lestat hide Antoinette in another town? And Louis answers, because he failed. At what? And then they just walk away.
Каждую ночь ходит поезд в Нью-Йорк. Затаимся в Гарлеме, затем сядем на корабль. Он увезет нас куда угодно.
Это звучит как никуда. Оцепенение осталось. Эта жизнь наносит урон голове и душе.
Did you see that? Okay, I'm literally asking the editors, just cut more, cut more, but make it look like it was supposed to be like that. Because these tiny 2-second scenes, what are they supposed to show?
Оставьте это для него.
So the rent boy is just him. No, so save it for him.
Луи отпустил меня.
Сейчас ему сложно даже выбрать яблоко на дереве.
They cut the line that he picked you over me.
Ты бы не стала об этом говорить. Луи просил не спрашивать.
Ублюдок.
Он часто о тебе думает. Я ревную.
Чертов ублюдок.
Спорить.
Again, the baffling decision to cut the part where Lestat says that fortune for our family, I mean, they're established as a family. When he puts his mind to it, he can hear thoughts of vampires at great distance. Mysterious.
Сан-Франциско.
They cut the sign of the bar, the Polynesian Marys. Did they think that people would just try Googling it or something?
У меня есть то, что ты ищешь. Высокого качества.
Ты что, легавый?
Befitting a man of my tastes is gone for some reason. Again, another mysterious disappearance.
Ну, я правда хочу взять у тебя интервью.
Конечно.
The fuck? What?
Режиссер Ливан.
What? Why? What's going on? I think this is one of the worst offenses they've had so far because it's cut for literally no reason and it actually impacts the plot of the next episode. I'm confused, I'm baffled, I'm mystified. I am actually looking forward to the next episode because how are they gonna explain that? I have no idea. And why did they cut the fake Rashid reveal? I'm not sure. And we're back for the finale, finally. The final episode of the first season is 41 minutes long in the censored version. I already have my suspicions on which parts are going to be cut, but as we have established now, the censors on this are very unpredictable.
Итак,
So, yes, Daniel, so if we don't have the reveal of the previous episode, then why the glances? How do you explain that? What is the heterosexual explanation for that? There is one, because Daniel's suspecting that Rashid is a vampire. But here we don't have this context, so it's just gay now. Yeah, I've decided that they censored too close to the sun, and they looped back into gayness.
У тебя уже есть план?
Есть, но воплощать его нужно вдвоем.
Может, хотя бы расскажешь, что там?
План сработает только если его отвлечь. А я сделаю все остальное.
They got to the part where Claudia says that you share a coffin with Lestat, you share a heart with him. So that's why it looks so jumbled. I guess they could have just tried to translate it differently in trying to push their besties agenda, but they decided to just, no, it has to go completely.
Я не смогу.
Оставь частичку для меня. Я верну тебя до того, как убью его. Ты же сможешь это сделать?
Again, the dialogue just doesn't make sense because here Claudia says that Louis has to give in because he cannot pretend. They just leave the part at the end where Claudia says that leave a little bit of yourself for me, I will jump back in.
любители солнца, горячие источники. Там небезопасно.
Что это было?
Ничего.
Oh, so I guess the translators are not very well versed in the Vampire Chronicles lore because instead of those who must be kept, Lestat says it's not safe there.
Вот я и твой папаша в 910-м. Скажи-ка, девочка.
Well, instead of two-tone daddies, it's just me and your daddy.
Я купил нам билеты до Гаваны. 3 каюты на корабле из Гаваны в Рио, 2 купе в поезде из Рио в Буэнос-Айрес.
К началу голодания Лестат уже всем говорил, что бал — это его.
They cut the talk between Louis and Lestat, where they are very romantic in the coffin, but that scene contained a very important piece of information about the trucks with locks that trigger from the inside.
И предадимся инстинктам.
I love when they cut some stupid dialogue, but then leave these kind of touches.
Затмить которую смог лишь непомерный эгоизм Лестата. Кровь была повсюду.
Wait. Did they cut the whole scene with Lestat as the king of the Mardi Gras? Like the whole scene on the float with the baby? I guess that outfit was criminal for them. Not only the scene on the float, but also a little bit of Louis' narration after that.
А где Люк и Джон? Король внезапно проголодался. Прошу прощения.
The scene of Lestat smelling them was just too homoerotic for the taste of the censors.
Я жаждал его смерти. Голод стал ошибкой. Я стал неадекватен.
So they turned the scene on its head because here Louis says just I wanted him dead and that the fasting was a mistake. But where's the nuance? Where's the contradiction of wanting him dead and wanting him to yourself? I mean, that's the juice. That's what makes it compelling.
Меня даже музыка не заглушила. Вечеринка... Что надо?
They decided to be politically correct and cut the part where Tom says nasty stuff about our unholy family. I'm glad for that, at least. They can censor the line, but they cannot censor those hard eyes. Did you see that shit? They left some people looking offended. At what? At Louis dancing with Claudia? This is actually one of the reasons why I thought about watching this censored version, and one of the reasons why I felt inspired to do this series. When I watched this scene in the original, of course, the scene of Louis and Lestat dancing, and Louis saying that the only crime unfit to print took place on the dance floor. And I just, I felt that because it's reality around me, and it's deeply sad, maybe deeply ironic that all the murder and mayhem is allowed to be seen by the public, but the affection between two men is, out of the picture. It just cannot be allowed. I think I made myself sad again. That's why I'm doing this, to cope.
Ну вот.
Я оставил тебя одного.
Why did they cut you broke up the pair? Oh, I know what they cut you broke up the pair, because the next line is I'm sorry, my love.
Что здесь?
Наверное, джин.
Did you hear that? In the original audio track, they just silenced the part where Lestat says my love. At least the poetic cinema part, but Lestat's confession, I'm happy it was you, Louis. Where is it? Where is it? I need it.
Вы не убили Лестата, а спасли его от вашей идеи дружбы.
Again, it's not idea of love, it's idea of friendship.
Она не смогла его сжечь.
Вы прокляли ее во тьме. Вам даже мемуары не нужны. Помогут только сотни сессий терапии.
You chose Lestat over her time and time again. Gone.
Дэниел Малой. Познакомьтесь. Это вампир Арман.
In this version, the ending is even creepier. Like, please meet the vampire Armand, and they're just staring at him with two pairs of creepy eyes. Yeah, well, I was expecting that. What do you guys think? I am baffled by everything. There is a reason why I wanted to watch it and laugh at it, I guess, because this is seriously the way that I cope with all the ridiculous laws that are being enabled, with all these ridiculous ideas that are floating around nowadays. That, for example, watching two vampires kiss each other might be more offensive than those two vampires killing a bunch of people. I feel like the only way I can stomach that is just make fun of it. So this series is just making fun of a really scary real life situation. I hope you enjoyed watching the first season with me. There is the second one. I was really pleasantly surprised by the feedback, so keep it coming and I will keep going. See you then. Bye bye.